Hey, what's up, foam flingers? It's been quite a while. Um, Today I have for you my box opening of the. Actually, you know what? I don't do box openings, but I did get more than one. What I do is mod overviews. So I'm gonna go over a few things of what I did to it. Go over the mod potential, the mod hiccups, and just the ease of mod, just overall. Might even go over some of the things that I noticed, little quirks that maybe others haven't. Um, One of the things I first noticed about the xshot Longshot was that the Plunger 2. When I did do a disassemble, pretty much maybe within an hour of getting it. I did notice was a Plunger tube that there was a lot of like flex to it, meaning that it was very, very thin and weak feeling. And you know, everybody knows about the cracked Plunger tubes at this point. But let's take a look. So mine arrived cracked. You can see that's actually super glue going around. Then I actually had it wrapped with E-tape, and then I stuck it back in the blaster, and honestly, it worked great. I did see some seal inconsistencies, so I was losing air. I was still getting good enough seal where it was getting some good pop. I mean, mine was hitting 160s, you know, about mid 160s out of the box, at least on the max darts. The darts it comes with was a little bit fatter foam. I think I was getting like 140s, but then I also was getting a lot of inconsistencies in their darts more than I was the max darts, at least stock. But we said we're gonna look at the plunger tube. So like I've been telling everybody, if I just take my index, my thumb, and just squeeze it, like I could barely have to squeeze to get it to flex. I'm barely pressing. You can see my other fingers are open. And if I want to, I'm pretty sure I could just about break this thing with just the two fingers if I wanted to. But I have no use for this thing because it is, I'm pretty sure it's acrylic, which is like the cheapest plastic you can get. It does not hold up well to weather. It colors very nice. It's easy to dye. It makes a pretty salt shaker, but I do not want it for my plunger tube. At least not at the thickness that this one is molded for. So like, if it was a couple millimeters thicker, I mean, I'm going to show you the tube that I switched to. Of course, the tube I switched to is a wrong size tube, but like, even if you look at the thickness, I don't know if you can even pick, you probably can't pick it up on camera. It's hard to because it's aluminum, but it is quite a, again, my tubing is a little, yeah, I don't know if you can pick up the thickness, but the tube overall is a larger size, so you can't really judge it on overall diameter. The outer diameter of this is 42 millimeters. A lot of people have been asking. Oh, dropped a piece of garbage. And the inner diameter, which is also important, is 40 millimeters. I'm off on the outer diameter with this. What I did by 3 millimeters or so on the outside, and like a little over one, like 1.3 or whatever the calculation was on the inner diameter. So I had to make up some room. Through some skinny O-rings I had that are kind of hard to find unless you source them. You're not going to find them in like multi-packs at the hardware store. Most of those O-rings are pretty thick, so it wouldn't work with what I did. Another thing I like to do is take thin strips of electrical tape that I cut, that's basically O-ring channel size, and I'll wrap electrical tape. And this is when I'm making up a lot of room in the recess channel for the O-ring. So basically, if I'm doing small adjustments, it's going to be Teflon tape. If I have a lot of room to take up, I'm going to have to put something substantial in there. So electrical tape usually doesn't wear out, also like Teflon tape. So honestly, if you set a seal with electrical tape, when you do have to make up a lot of room, the electrical tape actually holds up pretty much. I mean, you ever seen electrical tape really deteriorate that fast? Not really. And sitting on the O-ring, lubrication, it'll probably last forever once you have it set. Anyways, I have thin O-rings under these to make up for the room. I did have to do some shell cutting, just like a little bit. I don't know if you can see. There's like parts where the shell goes down as a ribbing, and it was rubbing up against. Basically, I just had to keep looking at it and opening it and trying to attempt to close it and see how much I had to take out to fit this tube in there. But then the O-rings actually were a nightmare to figure out, but I was able to. Now, that being said, I got this tube off of Amazon because it was some random car part. I knew it was too big, but I was going to make it work. If you want exact dimensions, I would suggest looking overseas. I would suggest looking somewhere where they use metric measurements. Even though we have metric stuff here, a lot of it that's available is geared towards something that matches already our standardized size and piping and tubes and stuff. So that doesn't really help me out. I wasn't able to find anything here, but I do have something from AliExpress. China Slow Boat will be here in, who knows, 3 to 4 weeks. But it is an exact match, and it's aluminum, and they actually offer different colors. I got the silver one because it's cheaper, just a stock color. But yeah. Anyways, I got a polycarb barrel on mine. I basically ripped it out of a Lynx. So it's 17.5 inches. I think I had like a sealed scar on it too. I actually switched. I was having a lot of inconsistencies on like testing was a sealed type scar, and I switched to foamdemic scar, which is a 3D printed scar that actually has really low resistance on the grip of the dart, so it's fairly large diameter for the rifling, and it works great. So oh, one other thing to mention, I haven't seen anybody mention this, but I experienced a few times where the magazine, well, I didn't know it was a magazine, well, the darts I noticed wouldn't feed quite correctly. So and I noticed like it would hit funny, and then even the dart would jam down hard enough to where the retention springs for the magazine release aren't all that strong. It would actually force the magazine down too and just drop out. I was trying to figure out why, and I think I have found out why. My favorite magazines are Talons, and they still are, and let me show you why. If you can see here, you see how the Talon mags are nice and straight, and then you see the Max Darts and the xshot magazine all wavy. So the channel is too wide for darts to go up straight. So when the dart's off left to the right, when it goes up here, if it doesn't get up into the feed lips right, and it's like crooked a little bit, that's when it's gonna jam weird, and maybe the pusher's gonna force it in a weird angle, basically. So I haven't experienced that with Talons. I have experienced it with this. Again, I don't think it's a bad magazine, but it does, you might want to check like on breech. Luckily it is a nice big open where you can see the dart breaching. You know, I love that. That's freaking amazing. I always thought the jam door on this. But let's do some FPS testing, because you know that's where it's at. I didn't tell you how much K20. I did use K25 on it. We said polycarb barrel. It was maybe 1.5 to 2 coils longer than what you would find for a standard Talon Claw length K25. So a little bit spicier spring than I would normally use in a Talon Claw. But she can handle it, guys, so we're about to find out. Oh, make sure the thing's off. 267, 265, 256, 251, 267, 269, 262, 274, 267, 260, 267, 262. So yeah, let me see if I can pull these up. So that's the last shot that was up there. Let's see if we can get the other ones to pick up. Change the color on the screen, maybe it's easier to pick up. Maybe, not really. Not really. Okay, so my high is a 274, a minimum of 251. Most of them were in that 260s range. I'd say that's a spicy blaster. So, so if you think about it, it's a $30 blaster. I put about $30 into it between K25, some polycarb barrel, the very budget friendly, excellent foamdemic scar, and some K25. What kind of K25? OutofDarts. Yeah, you can get the pro stuff, but you know, if I want a little more pop, I just cut an extra half to one coil, you know, to be honest. But I get it. Some of you guys like your pretty springs, but for me, I'm quite frugal, so I'm gonna buy in bulk. So I usually just get a bucket of springs from OutofDarts every once in a while when I am running low, because they work in just about everything nowadays. But yeah, if you like my video, if you like my overview, like, comment, subscribe. I'm sure after I end the video, I'm gonna be like, oh, I forgot to say all this crap. But you know, it is what it is. I don't like editing. I just kind of shoot when I have time. And yeah, it's good shooting for you guys again. And I hope next time I've got something new, something fun, and I'll be able to share. Guys, have a good one.